The topic assigned to me for discussion is orbital tool actuation during electro-discharge machining. All mechanical engineers know the importance and inevitability of unconventional machining processes. And electro-discharge machining is one of those. My content of the talk today will consist of introduction, then orbital actuation strategy, planetary actuations, and then radial actuations. Towards introduction, as we all know, electro-discharge machining process is thermoelectric based unconventional machining process wherein the energy used is electrical energy and that energy is released in the form of sparks. So spark erosion is required for removal of material. So when a workpiece, which is a conducting material, and a tool is separated at a specific distance, and if that gap is filled with dielectric fluid medium, and when sufficient potential difference is applied, the dielectric medium will turn into an electric medium and will create a plasma channel, and thereby millions of electrons will jump from cathode, that is the tool, to anode, that is the workpiece, in the form of sparks. As a result of that sparks, the tiny minute volume from the workpiece surface will reach to such a high temperature that it will be able to vaporize. And the presence of carbon particle in the machining zone is a proof for that. So this is basically the working principle of electro-discharge machining process. And normally we know that in electro-discharge machining, the shape of the tool is nothing but a mirror image of the cavity that is desired. So if we want to understand the material removal mechanism, so electric field between the tool and the job, which ultimately result into the creation of plasma channel, and thereby sparks are generated. As a result of sparks, the workpiece is machined and converted into a useful product for suitable end use. As far as the applications are concerned, as we all know, electro-discharge machining is mainly used for die sinking, which is used to generate complex cavity on extremely hard material like superalloys, tool steels, tungsten carbides, and other such material. This process is used to fabricate highly complicated multifunctional parts, which are also used in electronic industries. It is also used to finish sharp corners of the internal cavities. If you machine conventionally, you are not likely to get very sharp internal corners because of the radius of the tool that you are using for conventional machining. So for getting a finished sharp corners, this process is used. So if you try to understand the process has certain parameters which are operating parameters, which may be electrical parameters. In cavity sinking process, the tool is gradually asked to move down and dipped into a workpiece to generate desired cavity, meaning that a specific tool shape will generate a specific shape of the cavity. But if we are, and that tend to increase the tool cost. If we want to bring in economy, then we will be tempted to use the same tool to generate different types of cavity of different dimensions. And one such possibility is if we orbit the tool around an axis, then using the same tool, if we do not orbit it, we will get cavity of one dimension. If you orbit it, then depending upon the radius of orbiting, we will get the cavities of different dimensions. So that is what our aim at this institute to understand. And for understanding any process, we have to evaluate certain criteria, and that will give us ease of comparison with other processes, either ease of comparison with other strategies of the same process as well. And this process criteria in electrodischarge machining are material removal rate, tool wear rate, and machining accuracy, that is surface roughness, overcut, and taper obtained during machining. Tapered basically on the side wall. So if you want to aim at some process improvements in EDM, we can have that improvement possible with tool work kinematics. We can have improvement possible with some modifications in the dielectric fluid medium, or we can have some improvement possible with tool material or tool geometry. As far as tool workpiece kinematics are concerned, tool workpiece rotation is one of the option. Tool or workpiece vibration is the other option. Tool scanning, that is moving this tool, is one of the other options. And orbiting a tool is also an important option. And that my talk today will be confined to this particular topic. If we want to improve the process by playing with dielectric fluid medium, we can either change the dielectric fluid medium, which is normally recommended by the manufacturer, or we can allow a fine-grained powder or surfactant which can be kept suspended in the dielectric fluid medium and which may help in improving the process. For tool materials, we may use composite, we may use sintered tools, we may use cryogenically treated tools, because cryogenic treatment change the thermophysical property of any metal either favorably or non-favorably. And if it is changed favorably, we can use such tool to improve the process. But this is an area which is yet to be explored at our end. We can play with tool geometry. Instead of solid cylindrical tool, we may have tubular, we may have bundle, we may have disc type tool, we may have multi-channel tool, we may have tool in the form of plate or frame. So as far as today's discussion is concerned, I shall be talking about providing an orbital motion to the tool instead of keeping it steady. So if you want a tool to orbit, that is in a particular fashion at a particular radius with certain radius of orbiting, so tool is given motion in X, Y, and Z axis. See, normally in conventional die sinking, we have only movement in Z axis. So now we are adding two more motions, that is in XY plane. Smaller tool can generate larger cavity, meaning that same tool can be used to generate multiple cavities. Material can be removed from all axes simultaneously, and different tool part defined in orbital EDM are. See, you can have one strategy that is known as Z slicing. You allow the tool to machine up to some depth and then orbit it and remove the material in the periphery. Then increase the depth of machining. Once again, you orbit it. This is known as Z slicing. We can have orbital movement in cylindrical slicing as well, wherein using die sinking, you generate the entire depth of the cavity and then move or keep on orbiting the tool. So gradually, depending upon the change that is experienced in the orbiting radius, cylindrical annular surfaces can be machined. We may have helical. Along with the depth, along with the orbital motion, you gradually increase the depth. And this is how tool will be moving in helical manner. Or we may have a radial strategy wherein from center, tool may be moving to one side, it is coming back, it is oriented by certain degree, It is once again given radial orbiting, it will come back. Then once again, this is how radial motion of the tool is also possible. So today's discussion will mainly be focused on helical strategy and radial strategy of tool orbiting. And obviously, being a mechanical engineer, we cannot have certain hypotheses to be followed, but we have to rely on our experimentation. And to carry out experimentation, we need a good experimental setup. So this is the experimental setup used for the purpose to understand helical and radial orbiting strategies for electrodischarge machining. So I shall be discussing both the strategies, which are work of two research scholars supervised by Dr. Harshid and myself. The first is tool wear monitoring in planetary electrodischarge machining of titanium grade 5 alloy. And this work was carried out by Dr. Vishal John Mathai during his doctoral research at our institute. So basically, it is more a work which involves extensive experimentation. The total work was divided into 3 phases. In the first phase, we wanted to study the strategy. Which strategy should be selected? We aim to have a square cavity. Okay, so we want to cut a square cavity. The methodology to be adopted is only one factor should be varied at a time. And to generate a square cavity, tool may be moved in a planetary fashion or in a diagonal fashion. And just to consider the economy, the workpiece was AISI 304, that is stainless steel, and the tool was made up of electrolytic copper. So this was our phase 1, just to analyze the strategies that how should we orbit the tool, in which manner we should orbit the tool. In the second phase, we switched over to our target material, that is titanium alloy, feature same square cavity and planetary strategy, one factor at a time. And then parameters are also studied. Parametric investigations were carried out, wherein the electrical parameters which are governing the process were varied. Moreover, the flushing strategies, because normally we require to flush the machined surface because it is normally embedded with carbon particles. And if the surface is flushed properly, the fresh surface will be exposed to the tool to generate efficient sparking. And in the third phase, we carried out detailed experimentation for the same cavity, and we adopted Taguchi orthogonal array just to reduce down the number of experiments. And we studied the parameter which are tool actuation parameter and electrical parameters which are electrical process parameters on the same material, but we tried with different tools. In case of phase 1, wherein the strategy selection was to be studied, this was the tool and we wanted to have a larger cavity generated with the tool. Now to generate a larger cavity, I can move the tool in this manner, that is shown from 0 to 1. Okay, and then tool is moved up to 2. This is what is the extreme position of the tool corresponding to position 2. And then the tool was moved to point number 3 corresponding to this figure. Then it was moved to 4, 5, 6 and then 0. This was the planetary movement that we adopted at first stage. In case of radial tool movement, what we did, we allow, as the tool was of square cross section, we allowed the tool to move in a diagonal manner, radial diagonal manner from 0 to 1. Then it was traced back, then to 2, then It moved to 3, came back, moved to 5, came back, moved to 7 and came back. The dimension of the cavity generated in both the manner were same. So these two strategies we aimed at, and we carried out certain experiments using both of these strategies. The experimental details are as shown. The workpiece, as I have discussed, is made up of stainless steel AISI 304, tool electrode made up of electrolytic copper, 8 mm by 8 mm cross section, 30 mm long. And we varied parameter. Those parameters are mainly of two categories. One is a tool actuating parameter and others are important electrical parameters. In case of tool actuation parameters, tool path offset and scanning speed of the tool electrodes, tau 0 and S0 were varied and studied. Then, as far as electrical parameters are concerned, pulse on time, duty factor, gap voltage, and currents were varied and studied. That effect of change in this parameter were studied. For better comparison of planetary and diagonal strategies, what percentage increase in MRR is obtained can be arrived at MRR in planetary tool actuation mode minus MRR in diagonal strategies divided by MRR in planetary fashion were studied to understand the percentage increase in MRR. Similarly, percentage reduction in tool wear and percentage reduction in surface roughness. So we need to carry out measurement for MRR, need to carry out measurement corresponding to tool wear, then and then they can be compared. Similarly, the case with surface roughness, that is average roughness RA. So these were measured and then compared. In phase 2, parameter is identification for planetary EDM of titanium grade 5 alloy, because preliminary studies done in first phase, they reveal that the planetary motion should be preferred compared to diagonal movement. So we went ahead with planetary EDM of the target material, that is titanium grade 5 alloy. Experiments were performed on titanium workpiece having 15 by 15 cross section, 25 mm long. Tool, same way, electrode 9 mm by 9 mm, 30 mm long. Tool path offset given is 0.5 mm. What does that mean? That cavity obtained was 10 mm by 10 mm. And the parameters varied were same as discussed earlier, plus we studied flushing strategies as well. As far as the flushing strategies are concerned, normally we thought that in normal case, in normal operating condition, we normally flush the surface using appropriate nozzle through which a pressurized dielectric fluid flows, and that cleans the surface, that removes the debris or product of machining. But we also thought that instead of pressurizing it with nozzle, if we carry out suction from the machining zone, then that also will be able to help us to clean the product of machining, which are nothing but carbon particles and other weird particles. So pulse on parameter range were identified for planetary EDM, that is planetary EDM is orbital EDM of titanium grade 5 alloy. Okay. Pulse on time in terms of microseconds, these levels were identified and the rest of the parameters were kept constant. Similarly, duty factor varying from 0.2, 0.3 and 0.4. Polarity, whether tool be positive or negative, that was also studied. The values of other parameters maintained constant. gap voltage varying from 40, 70 up to 100. These parameters were kept constant. Pulse off time 275 microseconds, 410, 550 and 690 microseconds. These values are normally available on the machine, and that is why to cover the entire range, right from minimum operatable value to the maximum possible value, were considered. As I have discussed above, the nozzle normally flushes this machined surface. We tried with suction also, that if electrolyte is sucked through nozzle, what will happen? So in the experiments carried out in phase 1, that is studied for selection of proper strategy, whether we should go for planetary or diagonal. The planetary strategy is preferable to diagonal strategies for machining of square-shaped feature using EDM process. That was what was the outcome of the experimentation. Okay, I'm not discussing the result, I'm just discussing the outcome of the entire work. In phase 2, parameter range identification for planetary EDM of titanium grade 5 alloy revealed that current 13 ampere and side injection flushing is preferable. Then we went for detailed experimentation, and in case of detailed experimentation, we selected our regular titanium alloy, and the workpiece were prepared using split configuration. You can see 25 by 25, and it is cut from the center, and both the pieces were kept for the machining. Tool was centered properly. The reason behind this is, after carrying out the machining, the ease of measuring surface roughness was available if the workpiece is normally kept splitted into two parts. These are all finely finished surface, matching surface, and dimensional accuracy was also targeted properly. And we wanted to generate a cavity of 10 by 10 mm size up to 10 mm depth using a tool having cross section as 9 mm by 9 mm. So if we wanted to carry out the detailed experimentation for all the parameters, which are 5 and 4 different levels, if we go for full factorial design, then we would be in need of 1024 experiments. If you opt for response surface method, that is CCD full 50, central composite design half 32, and if we use box-Benkel method, we would need 46 experiments to be performed. If we use Taguchi technique, we would be in need of 16 experiments, but these 16 experiments were only for one tool material, 16 experiments for other tool material, and then same number of conformity tests. That is, this 16 will be multiplied by 4. So in order to study the detailed experimentation and effect of various parameters satisfactorily, then also we were in need of carrying out 64 experiments. Parameters and level used for designing the experiments, these are all 5 parameters, 4 different levels as discussed earlier. They are pulse on time, tool path offset, scanning speed. These 2 are orbital parameters, and these 3 shown in light orange color, they are electrical parameters. Moreover, we carried out the same thing using 2 different tools. So detailed experimentation, that their related measurements and outcome, they revealed that performance of the copper electrode was found to be better in comparison with graphite electrode. for the selected range of process parameter. Pulse on time has a significant effect on most of the responses. Distortion on the tool electrode, that is the surface quality and surface quality of the machined surface, depend upon combination of thermophysical property of the electrode material, that is tool material, and electrical as well as tool actuation parameter employed for machining. So that means the distortion or tool wear and the surface roughness, that is surface quality, that depends upon combination of all these parameters. This is what we have studied. But after studying this, after getting the desired result, after getting the conclusion, what should be the end use? And you should not be submitting a thesis and enjoying life. We have to carry out certain analysis which will be helpful to the future researchers, and if possible, it can be used for the commercial applications as well. So we went ahead with semi-empirical modeling for tool wear rate, because wear ratio, which is a ratio of MRR, material removal rate upon tool wear rate, is one of the most important process criteria of electrodischarge machining. And wear of the tool, we know that electrolytic copper, the tool is to be saved properly, the end surface should be given proper treatment, and then it can be used for the purpose of machining. So tooling cost is a bit higher for electrodischarge machining. And as far as possible, if we control the tool wear, then the same tool can be used for prolonged period, and tooling cost per component will reduce this somehow. So we carried out an empirical modeling for tool wear rate. The method used was dimensional analysis using Buckingham Pi theorem. Variable considered, you can see all parameters which are process parameters are considered. Not only that, material properties also were considered. And geometrical parameter, that is cross-sectional area of the tool, that also was considered. And we analyzed and came out with the tool equation for tool wear rate for all parameters, which are thermophysical parameters of the tool material. Not only that, electrical parameters during operations. So we came out with two equations, that is tool wear rate for copper and tool wear rate for graphite. Then this model was to be checked for adequacy for copper electrode. These vertical columns, these are predicted results, and these points which are joined with blue line, they are accidental results. And you can see that for copper and graphite, the predicted modeling of tool wear rate is in very good agreement. Then we carried out confirmation test, experimental results, predicted results, and error. If you can see, the highest error was 14.10, and on the negative side it was minus 4.99. So error is always less than 15%, which is quite reasonable and within acceptable limits. Then we know that during machining, the end of the tool is subjected to wear, meaning that the length of the tool keeps on decreasing continuously, and from the reference point, initial reference point, if your machine indicates that you have machined the depth of 10 mm, but out of which maybe 1.5 mm is end wear of the tool, the effective depth machined is only around 8.5 to 9 mm. So we wanted to develop a tool wear and compensation model with a viewpoint that if we develop this model, and using this model, if we can predict the total depth of cavity to be machined considering tool wear, then at the end of experiment the depth achieved will be exactly as per our requirement. So this is the in situ method used for the purpose of measurement. Tool electrode and the workpiece we used. This is Z0, and we used a slip gauge, that is Z5. Okay. Then we carried out experiments, and then we carried out measurement of tool wear, and this is how it can be done. The effect of all parameters were considered. Now pulse on time and off time. See, when pulse on time is 93, 335, orbiting tool offset is 0.5. This red line was initial tool shape, and this is the amount of wear that tool has suffered. Same way, when on time increases with the same off time, still more wear. When on time is 93, off time is more, this is the wear. And then when on time is 315, off time is 550, orbiting radius 1.5 mm, and this is the wear. You can see as you keep on increasing the orbiting radius, these are the sample results. So intensity of end wear depends upon combination of electrical as well as tool actuating parameter and the target cavity depth. Because as the depth of target cavity increases, tool will have to work for larger period of time and will be subjected to more wear, which is but obvious. So we tried to develop an ENFIS model for end wear compensation. And for that purpose, we have used adaptive neurofuzzy inference system, ENFIS, which is a hybrid technique created by combining fuzzy logic and artificial neural network, so that benefits of this technique can be utilized for developing prediction model. This model was developed using fuzzy logic toolbox available in MATLAB. Okay, and to develop the model, we have used 85% of the data for training purpose and the rest 15% for testing purpose. And to develop the fuzzy inference system, we have used Gaussian membership functions because it has a very good prediction capability. This is what were the input for training, and this is what we were getting as output. This is a screenshot of MATLAB interface of ENFIS modeling. Now, performance of end wear prediction model developed using ENFIS, it was compared with experimentation. The blue line shows the experimental values, and this bars shows the predicted values. And it was done for 12 number of data sets. For every data set, you have to use a separate tool, separate workpiece, and carry out measurement critically. So this is what is aimed at. We wanted to have this much depth, but because of the tool wear, when machine indicates that you have reached to your depth, in fact, this is unmachined portion. If we measure this distance and once again allow the tool to dig by that distance, by that time, tool also will be subjected to wear and you will reach to this stage. But ultimately, for final cavity of the dimension as per desired, what is the tool wear compensation required, that is predicted using this model efficiently. And this is the flow chart for that. Input process parameters given: pulse on time, tool path offset, scanning speed, off time, gap voltage, and target depth. This is a developed interface. and then validation. Once the model is developed, we carried out experiments for different depth predicted by the model, and then related percentage error. If you can see that the percentage error varies from 1.210 to minus 6.439, which is a good acceptability. So this is about planetary electrodischarge machining methods, wherein we understood the strategy to be adopted, and we tried to study the using detailed experimentation. We try to study the entire process criteria when various process parameters are varied. Process criteria like material removal rate, tool wear rate, surface roughness were measured using appropriate instruments, and then based on which analytical models for wear rate, tool wear rate of copper and graphite electrodes were developed, and we developed ANFIS modeling for end wear compensation as well, which will help us to get the desired depth of cavity very accurately. So this is about first phase. In the second phase, we carried out orbital electrodischarge boring using radial tool movement. As indicated earlier, 0, there is 1, 0, 1, 2. This way the tool was allowed to move. And this work was carried out by Dr. Sudhanshu Kumar, who is faculty at MANIT, Bhopal. Radial tool movement. In radial orbiting, tool actuates on linear path along the radius of a circle. The direction of tool movement is radially outward from the center of the cavity. So initially, you have to carry out boring process first, and then you have to allow the tool to move radially. The distance of tool movement from the center position is defined as orbital radius. Initially, the tool reaches to the full depth of cavity and then starts radial movement. The nature of tool movement is to and fro, meaning that once you machine the cavity, you will not continuously move it in a radial manner, but it will move, come back, move, come back, move, come back. And then as a result of to and fro motion, forward and backward motion, which are controlled by machining time and flushing time respectively. This to and fro motion is to be controlled using the control unit available with the machine. The movement of tool is specified at an increment of 5 degrees from previous path. And in 72 movements, tool completes a circular path, meaning that once the tool has reached to the extreme orbital radius, it comes back. It is oriented by 5 degrees. It will move at 5 degree angular distance compared to the initial movement. And this is the pictorial view for the same. Tool moves and cavity is generated. Okay. When tool comes back, it goes to the second at 5 degree. And this is how at the interval of 5 degree, it keeps on removing the annular material from the workpiece. So here the tool electrode and workpiece selected, AIS 304 and Inconel 718. Okay. Tool material, electrolytic copper, having 99.9% copper, which is selected as a tool material. And similarly, the workpiece was separated into 2 pieces. It is pre-drilled and then orbiting is done. This is a bored cavity. Tool electrode before boring. This boring is using EDM only, you see. This is after boring. So phase 1, which gives us idea about the selection of suitable boring strategy. We can have die sinking EDM process. We can have helical tool movement, which was discussed in phase first part, or we can have radial tool movement. The responses or process criteria are material removal rate, tool wear rate, wear ratio, surface roughness, and overcut. Okay, which is nothing but shape accuracy. The parameters which are to be varied: currents, on time, off time, orbital radius, orbital scanning speed, and machining time and retreating time. So this is a typical view of die sinking EDM strategy. Uncut material removes over here and it is bored. Then in helical strategies, what do? We keep on increasing the depth and reach over here. In case of radial, it moves over here, come back, oriented by 5 degrees, it will come back, oriented by another 5 degrees, and this is how the cavity is generated. This annular cavity is generated. For selection of suitable boring strategies, what should be preferred? So we carried out experiments with these operating parameters and compared material removal rate using die sinking, using radial, and using helical. So it is evident that die sinking has given the highest MRR for all the three strategy studied, but at the same time, you see the tool wear. That is also on higher side. Okay. Wear ratio is also very high for the boring when current of 9 ampere is done. And if you compare the tool wear using die sinking, see this is the wear, this is the roughness. In radial, tool is uniformly weared out. In case of helical, tool has very sharp corners and has weared out. Bottom surface is also undergone the de-shaping. Okay, in case of helical tool movement, bore diameter 12 mm, the corner radius which was measured is 4.09 mm. That means tool has suffered this much wear and this much bottom wear. Tool diameter 8 mm, you can see the bottom view. In case of die sinking, radius corner wear is relatively less, but you see the bottom surface of the tool, which is heavily subjected to wear. And in radial tool movement, corner wear is very, very less, and you see the bottom surface that is appearing better compared to helical and die sinking. So tool suffers much more damage in case of die sinking the most, followed by helical, followed by radial. Pardon? So in summary, for suitable boring strategy, we came to know that radial tool movement gives lowest overcut, lowest wear ratio, very less crack, and better bored cavity. Okay. Better bored cavity means overcut is less, surface finish is better. So then we identified the parameter for preliminary experiments using radial tool actuation. So these are the parameters varied and the rest of the parameters kept constant. So they are also enlisted. So we studied orbital radius, orbital speed, machining time, flushing time, spark gap voltage, pulse on time and pulse off time. After carrying out this experimentation, we could understand that orbital parameters are also required to be studied, electrical parameters which are also of significance. As far as orbital parameters are concerned, orbital radius, orbital speed, flushing time and machining time, they are more important parameters. And as far as electrical parameters are concerned, pulse on time and pulse off time are more important parameters. Okay. Machining was not observed for spark gap less than 40 volts. A set of experiments has been performed for different machining depths, varies from 2 mm to 18 mm using one factor at a time method. And these are the depth machines. You can see these are the views. The parameters varied are enlisted over here with their values, and we wanted to study their effect on tool wear. So as the machining depth increases, you can see from 2 mm to 18 mm, material removal rate increases if other parameters are kept constant. Tool wear rate is also increasing. And we can summarize that wear ratio is lower at higher depth, that is 10, 14 and 18 mm depth. Wear ratio, that is material removal rate upon tool wear rate. Tool is subjected to relatively lesser wear compared to smaller depth. Roughness is higher at 14 and 18 mm depth. At 10 and 18 mm depth, 10 mm depth gives lower overcut. So depth should be intermediate. We cannot go for a cavity having very higher slenderness ratio, that is having higher depth compared to diameter. Hence, 10 mm machining depth was selected for further experimentation. And then we carried out detailed experimentation using radial strategy, wherein the electrical parameters and orbital parameters were studied for 3 different levels. L27 orthogonal array is the best suitable design for this experiment using Taguchi technique. And the response were material removal rate, tool wear rate, surface finish, that is surface average roughness, and overcut. And the parameters which are significant for MRR are this one for tool wear rate, respectively RA and overcut, that is surface roughness and overcut. Then using this experimental results and outcome, we went for a prediction model for overcut and surface roughness. Okay, the parameters affecting the overcut are peak current, pulse on time, pulse off time, orbital speed and orbital radius. And the parameters which are significant and affecting the surface roughness, once again peak current, on time, off time and orbital speed. Here in roughness, speed comes into the picture, whereas in overcut, radius comes into the picture. The regression analysis is performed on response variable as a function of dependent variable. And this is the equation developed for predictive model, that is for overcut. Okay. Here the R-square value is quite reasonable and is 0.935, whereas lack of fit was 0.058. Then the model was to be validated. Okay. Experimental values, predicted values. Maximum prediction error is 8.62, whereas the minimum prediction error is 1.61. Similarly, prediction model for surface roughness was also developed, wherein the R-square value for this model is 0.959 and lack of fit is 0.253. And within the range of parameters investigated, the comparison with the experimentation shows that the error is within the range of 0.37 to 7.76. The average error is of the order of 2.56%. Then we developed an algorithm for overcut compensation, because normally what happens, if a tool is having diameter D, then the cavity that is machined, because of the sparking repeatedly occurring from the side of the tool, the dimension or the cross-sectional dimension of the cavity will be slightly larger than that of the tool diameter, and that is normally estimated as overcut. So for compensation of overcut, we developed an algorithm using this flowchart, wherein same way 85% were for training and rest were for checking. So experimentation value is this much, overcut is this, and these are the responses measured. Okay. These are the optimal combination of parameters. So overcut at compensated orbital radius, for this combination, you can see it is very close, 0.001 and 0.028. How we can adjust the tool diameter, how can we compensate the radius, what will be the target diameter, and what will be the measured diameter. The difference in the diameter, that is of target diameter and measured diameter, is 0.056. That means overcut on one side is 0.028. In the similar manner, it is here, it is 0.003. That means 0.0015. So the model algorithm developed for overcut compensation is also in very good agreement. So this is the summary. Orbital tool actuation helps to improve the productivity and quality of EDM process. All of you will agree to this. Helical strategy helps to reduce the tool wear drastically. Radial strategy helps to create accurate holes with accurate diameter, because the overcut observed in radial strategy was very, very less compared to helical or compared to die sinking or boring, wherein it was at the highest value. The soft computing technique assists in managing the response during orbital EDM. Soft computing technique means NFIS modeling and related techniques using MATLAB or any other software. These are the references used for this experimental work. Thank you.